This country went from desert tribes to trillion-dollar power in just a few decades. But what happens when the oil runs out? In 1938, Saudi Arabia was one of the poorest places on earth. Today, it's how did a country built on sand become one of the richest nations in history? And why is it now trying to reinvent itself before it's too late reshaping the global economy? And the clock is ticking toward 2030 to a $500 billion city in the desert, a future without oil, and a deadline called 2030. This is Saudi Arabia's biggest gamble ever. For much of modern history, Saudi Arabia has been one of the richest countries on earth. But how did this happen? How did a desert kingdom transform into a global financial powerhouse? And how did its government and royal family grow so wealthy? To understand this, we must go back to the very beginning. Before oil, Saudi Arabia was not rich. When the modern kingdom of Saudi Arabia was founded in 1932 by King Abdulaziz Al Saud, the land was largely poor and undeveloped. The economy depended on small-scale agriculture, trade routes, and religious pilgrimage to Mecca and Medina. Government income was limited, and life for most people was difficult. Everything changed in 1938. That year, oil was discovered in commercial quantities. This discovery transformed Saudi Arabia almost overnight. Foreign oil companies helped develop the fields, and soon Saudi Arabia became one of the world's largest oil producers. As global demand for oil exploded after World War II, Saudi Arabia's revenue skyrocketed. Oil exports became the backbone of the national economy. Over time, the Saudi government took full control of oil production through a state-owned company, Saudi Aramco, now the most profitable company in the world. By the 1970s, oil prices surged dramatically. Saudi Arabia earned hundreds of billions of dollars in what became known as petrodollars. This money funded massive infrastructure projects, cities, roads, hospitals, schools, and social programs. But oil revenue didn't just build the country. It also strengthened the power and wealth of the ruling Al Saud family. Royal wealth measured neutral. Saudi Arabia is an absolute monarchy. This means the royal family controls the state, and the state controls the oil wealth. Members of the royal family receive government stipends, control major assets, and influence economic policy. There is no clear separation between state wealth and royal wealth. A key reason the king and royal family are among the richest people on earth. Modern era, steady pace. In the 2000s, Saudi Arabia began managing its wealth more strategically. Oil revenues were invested globally through sovereign wealth funds, especially the Public Investment Fund, or PIF. This fund invests in technology, real estate, sports, energy, and global companies, turning oil money into long-term financial power. By the 2010s, Saudi Arabia was no longer just earning money from oil, but from investments across the world. In 2016, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman launched Vision 2030. The goal was simple: prepare for a future where oil will no longer dominate the global economy. Saudi Arabia introduced new taxes like VAT, reduced subsidies, expanded tourism, and invested heavily in entertainment, technology, and mega projects like NEOM. Oil still matters, but it is no longer the only source of wealth. By 2026, Saudi Arabia remains one of the richest governments in the world. Its wealth comes from massive oil exports, profits from Saudi Aramco, global investments through sovereign wealth funds, growing non-oil sectors like tourism and finance. The king and royal family benefit from this system through direct control, state allocations, and investment power. In short, Saudi wealth was built on oil, but sustained through power, investment, and global strategy. From a poor desert kingdom to a global economic force, Saudi Arabia's story is one of natural resources, centralized authority, and long-term financial planning. And as the world changes, the kingdom continues adapting, determined to remain rich far beyond oil. The Crown Prince, MBS Mohammed bin Salman, wants to create a Saudi tourism point in 2030. Let's see what happens. The time is reaching toward the 30. Like, share, and subscribe to see the world.